Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the second set of the night, Friday evening, and everything is just all right. I am Mizuno, and I am joined by the lovely, wonderful Grace with me tonight.
Oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm here right now. I'm like freaking out a little bit. I can't believe I'm with Mizuno. It's like talking to a celebrity.
Oh
This is
my
crazy.
god.
Oh
This
my
is like the
god.
best celebrity collab ever. Like Taylor Swift could never.
Oh my god, you're so right.
Well, folks, we have a really exciting match that Grace and I are going to cover for you all tonight in our doubleheader matchup for Friday night. We have just seen the Div 6 team Spoon take on the Gators, and now we're moving on to a Div 1 matchup for the start of the season here. We got the Comet Blasters out of UT Texas Dallas taking on Red Emberz out of Illinois State University. Grace, how excited for you are for these matches?
I am so excited. Looking at these results that both of these teams have and the players that these teams have is actually crazy. On the side of the Comet Blasters, one name that pops out to me in specific is Jimby, who is also on Up the Ante, which is quite a scary team getting Div 4 this season in Ludi. I mean, that's like pretty stacked. I can't wait to see how they do here though.
No kidding. And then you have to take a look over at Red Emberz as well. They have a slew of individual players that are coming together to make one explosive team. You have Corona, you have Zolo and Cliff with wide variety of experiences on their own and on their own teams. With Low Ink, with Smash and Splash, with even going back to Inkstorm from way
Oof.
back when. So a wide caliber here coming into this Div 1 matchup. And Grace, we're just going to jump right in to game number one. We'll be heading on over to a brand new map that was recently introduced. We got zones on ship shape, if I remember correctly.
Oh, you bet. I'm really excited to see these comps here. Jimby on that Splatana Wiper, which I was expecting. We see a Tri Nouveau and Ink Brush on the side of the other opponents here, and I'm just very excited to see how these comps kind of clash here, Mizuno.
Agreed, Grace. Agreed. We're going to see if the teams kind of taking their place here. Jimmy and Starora on this top right section looking to apply some pressure on the zone, but we see Corona there on the far left side trying to get some paint down. And here comes Onkar on that crab tank. Grace, there's a lot of movement going on here.
Yeah, and that crab right in the beginning, we see that Inkjet also coming out. These early game specials are really is what's going to change the tide for these teams here.
Vod taking down two members here early on. This is a really good start for these teams right here. Zone is captured and they have them all the way back up. This is a really tight spot for the Comet Blasters to be in right now as they are looking to get special however they can.
Yeah, we see that Zuka come out there. Sultana is going to end up going down on their retake here. That Ancient is going to end. We see some missiles pop out, trying to get back in. That crab is unfortunately going to get canceled there by Cliff. And it's really just not looking super good for this retake here, Mizuno.
Agreed, Grace. Cliff putting down this is going to be vital here for the Red Emberz to keep this zone locked in and loaded. One member down on the side of the Comet Blasters. Cliff putting on a lot of pressure, trying to get a second, but gets swarmed by the crowd here. Is still alive and is able to take the trade.
Yeah, that zone is ticking down. 5 seconds left. We see Jimby trying to hop in there. Corona, it's just not enough. I mean, that was a really tough match there for the Comet Blasters. I don't even know if they got too many points on the board there, Mizuno.
No, you're right, Grace. I think they were, I don't know if they were able to get the counter down to 50 that very far. I mean, Red Emberz were able to really set their presence really early on, and they did just a great job of just holding the line. You saw Cliff putting down the cooler in a good spot and supporting their teammates with getting that sloshing pressure on those ledges. I mean, just really classic fundamental stuff that, I mean, the Comet Blasters just couldn't push through.
Yeah, and I think they're on the side of Red Emberz in particular. They really had a good eye for when that crab was about to come out, and they totally just swarmed them and made sure that they did not get any use out of that special, which is amazing because crab can be so dominant and essential in pushing back and getting that zone back.
Right, that's such a good read for the Red Embers to recognize that and when to go all in and kind of use that player dynamic and like team advantage, right? Like you said, like they're swarming in on the crab to take it down and make that special just completely useless. Really good stuff from both of these teams. This is just game number 1 here, and we're going to be moving on to game number 2 here in TC Inkblot.
Yeah, I'm really, really excited to see TC Inkblot in particular. I think it's such a rewarding map or map mode for these kind of aggressive team comps, aggressive play styles. So I'm just really interested to see how these teams respond to that.
Agreed. Grace, let's take a look at these comps here. I think you would like to keep an eye out on a couple of things here.
Oh yeah, we see Jimby back on that wiper, which I'm very happy about. 2 tries, also very happy about that. I'm a big try fan. We still see that splash, we see a shot, Zuka of course, we see that Gal. Gal is becoming popular again, which I am maybe mixed to see, but both these comps are looking a little mirrored, honestly.
Agreed. This is a bit of a neutral situation here. There's a giant fight going on here for right stack. Cliff and Silly both on the tries, just kind of fighting each other. It looks like Silly gets the upper hand and takes down 2 members, and this is a really good start for the Comet Blasters as they start to take the tower to that first checkpoint.
Yeah, and that push does kind of get stomped out there, especially with that wall kind of just being face planted right onto the tower, honestly. But we kind of see this fight for mid. We see Corona shooting right here, getting a pick, which is huge. Now 2 are down on the side of their opponents.
Agreed, Grace. This is a great opportunity for the Red Emberz to convert here, getting a lot of pressure on the ground as the Whale pops and the Zuka, but they gotta be careful because Comet Blasters have 2 specialists locked and loaded and ready to go, ready to take use of them. And with Jimby here on that wiper, trying and fighting this tower here to get Bod right off of it, but is unsuccessful in their efforts.
Yeah, and that really is going to suck here for the Comet Blasters because not having that wiper up is really going to limit their ability to try and stop this tower here. You know, you don't have that weapon that's really going to put in a lot of pressure and that aggressive presence.
Agreed. Bod and on this Inkjet combined with the Whale getting some great pressure onto the Comet Blasters stack here, and all of a sudden, Red Emberz have taken checkpoint number 2. This is a very dangerous situation because after this checkpoint here, this tower can just slide right onto the final checkpoint like butter.
Yeah, and we see Silly on the side here trying to kind of get them from that bats area. We see the Inkjet popping out, trying to keep this push going, and it's honestly successful.
Right, exactly. And Bod is like just popped 2 Inkjets in the matter of 30 seconds or so. That pressure is so huge, and it's no wonder that the Comet Blasters took so long to finally get Red Emberz out of their base. And I mean, the Red Emberz already set a great precedent here, taking the tower all the way down to 16 points, and that is a long way to go for the Comet Blasters.
Yeah, it's pretty daunting to kind of look down and see that score on the board. I mean, it's going to kind of take a lot from the mental here on the side of Comet Blasters to come back from that.
Exactly. Bod here trying to inch this tower, getting a really good pick on Silly here, and getting yet another Inkjet. There's an Inkjet battle in the air going on at the moment, and Bod is just able to barely get it out, staying on that tower here.
And they actually get the pick on Jimby there, which is pretty huge in their position that they were in right off of their Inkjet recon. It's a battle for the stack here. We see Silly trying to take it. We see they're trying to get those fights. They're trying to get people off the other stack as well, trying to kind of push that tower forward and get mid kind of in their control. They're going to pop that cooler as well, which is really going to help enable their teammates to push up with them.
Agreed. We see Krona here looking to apply some pressure and ready to pop that Zuka at a moment's notice when the time is right. Here comes Jampy on that stamp looking to apply some pressure. And here comes Krona with that Zuka. 1 shot, 2 shot. Trying to get this plat cleared out for their teammates, but to no avail. And nonetheless, they're still going to try to inch this tower slowly but surely.
Chicken fight, or perhaps chicken in the air fight. I'm all for Inkjet fights. We do see Sterora winning that fight there, and the cooler's gonna pop. We see people on that wall, kind of pinching them from mid and on that wall. The try especially just kind of raining down fire, totally just eliminating that push.
I mean, right, ISU, the Red Emberz are completely able to swarm and completely trap the members of the Comet Blasters on the tower, and they really couldn't make use of that cooler other than to come right back from spawn and ready to play defense again. And Grace, there's only about 30 seconds or so left on the clock here. The Comet Blasters are almost out of time.
Yeah, and we see a few members go down as well on the side of the Comet Blasters. They're kind of throwing themselves at this tower, getting a little bit desperate, understandably so, that cooler kind of popping out. But unfortunately, it looks like they kind of have control in mid here, and it's going to be really, really tough for the Comet Blasters to come in here, Mizuno.
Agreed. Cliff here eyeing the tower, trying to prevent points, gets aggressive because they have to turn away from the Stamper, and now this is the Comet Blaster's chance to start inching this tower forward. Here comes the Inkjet, Jimby on the tower. The whale from Zolo is going to get 2 picks, make it a third. Zolo making a really good play on the tower, and the Comet Blaster's attempt of getting the tower any closer is completely dashed.
Yeah, and I mean, like you said, that was an amazing play there from Zolo, I believe it was, on that gal, right? And it was such a good play because of the crossfire that it initiated, where people were kind of shooting in from the general spawn area that you'd expect on Tower Control Inkblot, where they're defending from, trying to get them away from that first checkpoint. But coming in on the side, putting that wall, and doing their special, that whale, totally,
Mhm.
I mean, there's just nothing you can do at that point.
Exactly. Not only was Zolo super disruptive to the Comet Blasters, but also VOD. They popped so many inkjets, and I'll be curious to see what the stats are after the game because I swear they were up in the air more times than they were probably on the ground for a good chunk of that game.
Yeah, I mean, I'm all for inkjet fights, and especially on TC Inkblot, I think they're super fun to watch, but it can be tough if every time you pop an inkjet, there's an inkjet there waiting to fight with you, where you just want to kind of get the people down below, get their teammates, but instead you just have another inkjet in your face. Not fun.
Right, that's the power of inkjet, even with the nerf from the previous patch. I mean, this is a great demonstration of it still being able to continuously disrupt and just scatter people and make a mess out of things.
Yeah, I'm interested to see the comps and how they're kind of going to change here, Mizuno, on Rainmaker, Eeltail, Alley. Dare I say, we will definitely see a crab on the splash.
Mm-hmm.
Probably.
Mm-hmm. Cool, good point, good point. I'm curious what adjustments the Comet Blasters would take now because
Hmm.
they're in a two they're down 2 in the set, which is not the end of the world, but this is the potential where you have to snap back from it, right? I mean, you as a competitive player would know, especially in Ludi sets, this is the time where you got to bring it to gear.
Yeah, and you kind of have to sit there and just look at each other and say, okay, what wasn't working? Or what were our opponents doing on the side of Red Embers? What were they doing that was stopping us? And I don't really know if we see any changes here on the side of the Comet Blasters, Mizuno.
No, I think you're right, Grace. I guess they're sticking to what they feel is comfortable, and maybe it's just a matter of execution at the end of the day. That's another path to consider as well. We're now moving on to Rainmaker here on Eeltail Alley as both teams desperately try to get the pop here with the Comet Blasters winning it out. Jimby trying to make something happen here, but goes down. But thankfully, Silly was able there to support with the try, and now it's just a 2v2 situation.
Yeah, we see Silly there kind of clean them up. They're like, it's okay, Jimby, I know you just died, but I got this, I got this. And we see Jimby up here trying to kind of make some noise, getting 1 pick, getting 2! That Inkjet still is going to sniff them out, but that Rainmaker is definitely going to be able to push up here.
That was a really good play there by Jimmy, trying to get ahead and disrupt. Great picks, but getting stopped by VOD here. Jimmy is back alive. Here we go again. Silly looking to try to follow with their teammates, trying to get the podium, but is unsuccessful in their efforts as we see the Red Embers here kind of a little bit scattered, waiting for things to kind of get more grounded and get back situated.
Yeah, and we see, I mean, the Red Embers are just really pushing up here, getting that mid area. And most likely, yeah, they're going to be pushing the Rainmaker up here, probably on this bridge. We see some people contesting them, the try. We see that they're trying to get them out of that pedestal. Bazooka is going to... Oh! They ever coming in! Like, what the... I don't even know where they came from. Like, from the side, probably dropping from the left. Totally crushing their push.
Right, exactly. Now it's a fight for the Rainmaker. We have the Comet Blasters have to be careful here because someone can just do a little sneak and try to, grab the Rainmaker and pull a juke on them. But it looks like the Red Embers are going to grab it to spell it out. unsuccessful in moving it any further. And Zolo still being around the podium with that gal, continuing to disrupt, looking to get another pick here, gets the trade. The Rainmaker's just sitting there with Jimby guarding it. I think the Red Embers are cleared here.
Yeah, and we see Comet Blasters totally recognizes that they're in a really good position here to try and push that Rainmaker. We see Zolo trying to make something happen. Jimby sniffs them out, trying to get them away, says, alright teammates, I'm gonna let you handle that. And they do. Jimby's gonna hammer up here, trying to get to that pedestal again because they have not cracked it yet. Trying to get more picks here.
Really good efforts by Jimby there to make some room and open it up, like you said, for their teammates to come here. Here comes Sora finally breaking that checkpoint. That's going to be huge for the Comet Blasters because now this is a great opportunity for them to just keep inching that Rainmaker forward now that they've broken the podium.
Yeah, and that cooler coming out is going to be super, super crucial. They kind of threw it forward because they're like, I'm picking up this Rainmaker. I need my cooler. And they definitely gave it to themselves there, which is a great play. They're going to try and maybe push up the bridge here. I think they're going to try and wait for somebody.
Oh my god. Where did Jimmy come from? All of a sudden, was that 3 kills out of nowhere?
Yes.
Oh my god, what a play by Jimmy there. Wow, I mean, just completely halting that to a complete grinding halt. But thankfully the Red Embers, they kept their cool. All good, they completely cleared it out. No, there's not much damage here. There's still time to fix this. There's still time to continue this push.
I really applaud Red Emberz here for kind of responding so quickly after getting 3 down because of that little flanking maneuver from Jimby. They are unfortunately 3 down again here, and it looks like this Rainmaker is going to try and get another push going.
Right, exactly. Cliff is looking for the right opening to come in. But once again, they waited just a tad bit too long. That hesitation allowed Jimby that window of opportunity to shimmy on in with their wiper and stop the Rainmaker at a grinding halt. And the Red Embers need to get this checkpoint and a little bit more to surpass what the Comet Blasters have already established here, Grace. And with 40 seconds left now, here comes Corona. Wait, they're breaking the second checkpoint. They finally broke it. Now this is their moment.
This is definitely their moment here. We see Corona saying this way. They pop that cooler. They're definitely just gunning for it, going up onto that ramp. I don't think Comet Blasters was ready for a push that quick.
No, they weren't, Grace. I mean, it was completely wide open, and now all of a sudden, you'd think that the Comet Blasters had such a secure lead, and it just completely fell apart right in front of their eyes. Here comes Silly, desperately trying to get some paint back up on top of this bridge, working with Jimby, but to no avail. And with Vod on that ballpoint, keep just stiff-arming the rest of the Comet Blasters. They're not going to go anywhere.
I don't even know what got the Rainmaker there. In the end, somebody must have sniffed out their ballpoint and killed them on that little top area out of their spawn. And that is just so heartbreaking for Comet Blasters, having that lead for most of the game, and then it just all crumbling in front of them, like you said, Mizuno.
Mm-hmm. Right, and I have to give credit where credit's due. I mean, the Red Embers they were able to make use of the opportunities that they had, although they were right at the end where they needed it the most. That was the clutch time, and they pulled through. Especially with Corona and Vod putting in a lot of effort to just focus on objective at that point. Corona just grabbing the Rainmaker and saying, this, like you literally pointed out their call, this way, let's just go. This is wide open. Really good decision making on the side of Red Embers.
Yeah, and Rainmaker is just so fast that it's really blink and you miss it, and you have to react really, really quickly. So Corona just seeing that in that split moment being like, I'm just gonna run it. And it totally worked in their favor. I mean, they got a huge lead from that.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Now, this is do or die for the Comet Blasters here. They're down 3 in the set. For the CCA League, this is a best of 7 set. So this, again, do or die situation for the Comet Blasters here. And surprisingly, both of these teams are running up pretty quickly.
Yeah, and I mean, based off of what we've kind of seen here already, Mizuno, I don't think we're going to see many comp changes. Maybe like a little bit here or there, but Clan Blitz on Scorch Gorge may be a different case. What do you think?
I was going to say, maybe Steora might be switching instead of ballpoint to Flingza. Flingza paint
Mm.
range would be really solid here, especially on those elbows. But I wouldn't be surprised if Steora stays to ballpoint either.
Yeah, I'm very, very interested to see. Yep, still ballpoint here. I don't think any changes to that comp there. And again, it's still looking pretty similar on both of these sides.
Right, and we see Corona on the ink brush, Cliff on the try. Again, very few, no changes at all here for both of these teams, as Clam Economy is king here as we head into Clam Blitz, Scorch, Gorge. Corona here on top of the tower here at a really nice vantage point, and already gets a two down on the side of Comet Blasters just like that.
Yeah, and we're going to see them kind of pushing up onto that little pillar area. The crab is going to kind of stop them, but nothing can really stop the clan economy from prospering.
Oh, I love all these economical puns being, fiscally involved here. Oh god, I need to stop over it. Oh my god, here comes Red Emberz popping the basket relatively quickly here, but it looks like the Comet Blasters have it under control.
Yeah, they cleared them out really, really quickly, even though they did go 2 down in the process. We do see VOD over there still on their plat. We kind of see the players on the side trying to defend them, get them out of there. We see Corona wreaking havoc in mid here, trying to get them out of here. Like, this is my mid. I'm going to shark under your drop, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Oh my god, what a play by Corona. That was a great ledge play that I didn't even know an ink brush could do. Goodness gracious. Corona, I think, getting also another pick there on the stamper. Corona is being a total playmaker right now, as once again, the Red Emberz are looking to get a push in.
Yeah, and that Inkjet really opened up a lot of space for them. We saw them kind of painting the way, scattering Comet Blasters and kind of opening up that little pillow area wide open for them.
Exactly, and here comes Gracie pointing this out again. Vaughn is over in this left plat area, putting on a lot of pressure. And I know from experience, if this happens, it is very tough to get a ballpoint out once they're in like that.
Yeah, absolutely devastating. It can be really, really tough, but we do see Comet Blasters kind of pushing back into mid. They do end up going 2 down, but they're still fending off. Oh, as I see that, Red Emberz does score though.
Fending off just enough. We have to give credit where credit's due here. Onkar has popped at least 2 crabs from what I've seen so far, trying to defend the basket with their life. So really good plays there. But you want the crab for that offensive pressure here. So hopefully with Onkar getting this really good pick here, first pick down, that they can finally use their crab for some offensive pressure instead.
Yeah, and we see a few of the players on Red Emberz really, really keeping that little pillow area in their color, and they're really trying to keep the paint up and trying to keep the pressure and make sure that they cannot push in through that area. We do see the hammer come in. It does get snuffed out by Zolo. Amazing play there by them. That pick was just crucial.
It was, because that was the start of something for the Comet Blasters, and now all of a sudden the script is flipped. Zolo and Cliff looking to manage their clam economy accordingly, distributing the stock as need be, dividends and whatnot. And regardless, here they come with that Inkjet looking to apply some pressure, but Onkar, again from the Comet Blasters, is trying to keep them at bay with that crab tank.
And again, they must have popped a bajillion crabs at this point, and they're really, really good at keeping this mid area, kind of pushing them back. But like you said before, they kind of need them for offense, and it kind of falters when Red Emberz kind of sees that crab, respects it, maybe dies to it, and then they're like, okay, well, let's just leave and then we'll get mid later. We do see Corona sharking here. What? And the entirety of Comet Blasters just goes down here.
And here comes the jump, ladies and gentlemen, with Cliff and the cooler to combo it. So this is a great, potentially long-sustaining push here for the side of Red Emberz, as the Comet Blasters are fighting desperately to get them out of their plat. But here comes Vaughn on that Inkjet at the most perfect time. And oh my god, the clams are just flying in at this point.
Yeah, we see the ballpoint, we see the ink brush, they're all flooding clams in. They literally just need 2 more perhaps. I can't really count that well. I'm freaking out a little bit. They, they don't get any claims, and unfortunately, or fortunately for the side of Comet Blasters, this match can still continue on. But they really just have to get a hold of mid. They gotta push up. They need those specials, and going one down is not gonna help.
With the cooler, though, hopefully that'll keep them alive long enough, but they gotta be careful. Corona here just constantly running amok and causing mayhem, getting 2 picks at this point. And at this point, the Comet Blasters are just juggling the balls, looking for an opportunity to move in, but they just cannot hold their ground.
Yeah, and I think a lot of that has to do with kind of having to use their specials on defense rather than offense. We see Jimby coming in here, hammering in, maybe trying to get a few jumps in, instead having to rush back and help their teammates in mid.
Right, and that stamp is no longer used for offensive pressure, and all of a sudden, 2 are down, and it's just Jimby left to pick up the pieces, hopefully able to grab the ball, but just not in time. And ladies and gentlemen, that's your set. The Red Emberz out of Illinois State University is going to take this Division 1 set in a clean 4-0.
Yeah, I think Red Emberz did a really good job of forcing Comet Blasters into a pattern, that match especially. It was really tough to watch in hindsight when you're kind of in this weird dance where to push them out of your spawn, you have to pop all of your specials. But then once you get them out of your spawn, you don't have any way to make a push of your own.
Right, exactly. And I have to talk about like team synergy and special coordination here on the side of Red Emberz. It was just so good. Like I think I harped about it way too much during the set, but it was just so seamless, and they operated like a well-oiled machine during that set.
Yeah, and I think a lot of that has to do with knowing when your teammates kind of flourish. So they know that when there's a bit of discourse in mid, when they're trying to kind of come back in and their opponents are like, oh, we aren't really sure what we're doing yet, we don't have the clams yet for a push. That's where Corona comes in, totally wreaks havoc, as we saw them do a lot. Get these scrappy picks, and sure, they might go down, they might trade, but in the end, it's the opponents that suffer the most from those trades and those 2-down situations.
Right, exactly. But I mean, credit where credit's due to the Comet Blasters as well for playing such strong set against really strong opponents. This Illinois team is incredibly strong heading into the season, and this Comet Blasters team, being a CCA staple, continues to hold their ground and still demonstrate a really good performance and to represent UT Dallas really well. I'm actually really excited for their season going forward because they're such a consistent team, and I know that they're going to have really good sets that they'll take during the season.
Yeah, and we saw, similarly, we kind of saw Comet Blasters flourish in those kind of scrappy environments. I mean, we saw Jimby with those amazing hammer plays. We saw them get triples. We saw Silly, like, sharking around on that try, especially on TC Inkblot. They really flourished there, too.
Mm-hmm. And Ankar also playing like the defensive wall there on that Clan Blitz match was incredible. Yes. Like I cannot imagine how many crab tanks they popped and how many kills and assists that they got from those crab tanks alone.
Yeah, I mean they were popping them out like nobody's business. I mean, I'd be I'd be pretty scared to go up against them.
No kidding. Well, folks, we have a treat for you. Per CCA tradition, if a match happens to end early for whatever reason and there are still games to play, CCA teams like to continue the set in a friendlies matchup. So we get to have more games, which I don't know about you, Grace, but I love seeing more Splatoon.
I'm stoked. I'm especially stoked because it is Splat Zones on Hagglefish. I think this is such a fun map mode. I think it is so scrappy.
Really?
And we were talking so much about scrappiness and like them getting kills and being crazy. And I love craziness. I love the flanks. I can't wait to see.
You're just here for it.
I'm always here for it. I'm here for something crazy to happen. I want to see a quad. Give it to me.
Oh my god. Yeah, I agree. This is going to be where I think with this, how scrappy both of these teams can be in their own ways. I feel like this is going to be a really intense set. Like, there's going to be multiple, like, 3-down situations I can see on both sides.
Oh, yeah, and I'm living for it. I am living.
All right, folks, we're heading into game 5 of now our friendly set here between UT Dallas and Illinois State here. We see an E-leader coming out. Oh my god.
I never in my wildest dreams would I have thought that I would see an E-leader here. I do think it's really, really dominant. I was about to say, on that little tent setup there over that little area, it's just really dominant over the entire zone.
Oh, I was about to say, I thought they got that snipe there against the crab, but I mean, I guess not. Well, either way, like I predicted, there's a 3 down, make that a wipeout, and Illinois State is just storming into the Comet Blasters base here. This is this is just all in.
Yeah, and during that kind of defense of that zone that they had just kind of taken over in the beginning of the match here in Mizuno, we saw them collapse in on that crab, which is something that we've seen them do a lot.
Your observation skills are so good. I was just focused on the leader. Oh my god. But I mean, you're absolutely right. I mean, just the team coordination. Look, Chrono's using their whale to counteract that crab and just stall that out and putting a bunch of pressure on this canopy elbow area. I mean, we're down to 30 points already, Grace.
Yeah, we see that Zuka kind of popping out, trying to get rid of that people on the zone, helping out their teammate there, Silly. Love to see the coordination. I hope Silly there was in voice chat going like, help me, please. And then they were like, okay, I got you.
Stura coming through, cleaning up the mess that Silly was making, and now the Comet Blasters have control of the zone as the clock is slowly ticking down. One member does go down the side of Comet Blasters. We've got 2 members going down, and we see a lot of blue coming back into mid here.
Yeah, and again, that E-leader is just such a scary presence. I mean, it's really, it's going to be tough on the side of Comet Blasters to kind of come back in after they get positioned up in mid.
Right, exactly. We have Onkar here with that splash with the crab, popping it a little early, might I add, as the Viper does go down, and Cliff is making a move on Onkar here. Not much is able to come out of it other than to stall Corona there. Silly, and it looks like Silly able to get that kill there. Very fortunate, but the penalty is already done on the side of Illinois State.
Yeah, and I really appreciated the play there from Corona, kind of stalling out that zone, coming in and being like, you forgot about me, getting a pick before they go down. It really, really helps those seconds count.
No kidding. Here comes, looks like a lot of pressure here on Vod with both Azuka and a Viper trying to get this E-leader away from the zone. Wave breaker pops, more specials pop. Here comes the killer whale looking to apply some pressure, and that is a delayed wipe. And a jump also. Jimmy, Wipers can survive those. I keep forgetting that. But, I mean, this is another great spot for Illinois State right now.
Popping out those ink strikes. Zolo, I see you, kind of pushing them back into their own spawn. I mean, they're 1 down right now, and it's going to be a really tough feat to try and kind of get back into the zone here. We see them kind of sharking around at their drops. Jimmy trying to make some noise. Gets 2. That Zuka coming out, making some noise as well. And they actually cap the zone.
That was a great combo play there from Jimby and I believe not Silly, not Steora. Oh gosh, their 4th member. Goodness, Onkar. There we go. Pulling that out was incredibly clutch. And Jimby, you know what? Jimby getting a trade on that ink brush is also really good. Less disruption.
Yeah, and that Kula is gonna come out as well. That Zipcaster seeing that. Seeing that E-leader and saying, nuh-uh, I'm not letting you do anything there. Good job there on Silly.
Right, exactly. And all of a sudden, the script is flipped, and the Comet Blasters have taken the lead and looking to clutch out the zone with the remaining time on the clock here. Both teams are fighting desperately to secure the zone and doing whatever it takes. And the leader goes down, and there goes Cliff. And the Comet Blasters, with a delayed wipe, is able to secure the zone and get a game off of Red Emberz.
Listen. Having that stress kind of off your shoulders, kind of knowing, okay, well, we lost, but the set's over, let's just kind of play for fun, really enables you to kind of make something happen, honestly.
No, I agree. Like, that, I feel that pressure all the time. I could totally see that here. Like, the pressure of, like, being on stream. It's a Div 1 matchup, very highly anticipated. I mean, the Comet Blasters aren't unfamiliar with being on stream or being a part of the CCA community, but still, these matches for week 1 can be such a huge hump and such a huge hurdle to get over.
Yeah, I mean, I'm really happy at what we saw kind of come out from both teams there. The E-leader was definitely a really fun pick. I always think seeing E-leaders in action is really fun and interesting. Do we think we'll ever see that again?
Here, ballpoint's just so good here that I refuse to believe that VOD would not like. They cannot not play ballpoint here, but if I mean, this is friendlies at this point. So, I mean, we could see like 8 splashers or something. I don't know.
I would quite enjoy if we saw 8 Exploders, personally. But I don't know if that's really great here for tower control on Sturgeon Shipyard.
Right, and actually, we do see VOD, the last person here to hit the A button. So maybe they change it up a little bit. I think we'll see here in the next few seconds. But hey,
Hey.
hey,
Huh?
here we go. Game number 6. What did VOD choose, everyone?
Sniper!
What? Oh. Grace, I love how we were both just like ballpoint leader, and VOD just continues to surprise us and just pick pencil.
I don't even know. I can't do this.
It's okay. We'll do it together. Here comes the red embers on a wipe, making it easy for us to commentate and ease that back in. We're already making it to that first checkpoint with 2 specials unlocked. Here comes Zolo, ready to rock with those whales and getting a pick on Jiffy.
Yeah, and that wall coming up, unfortunately, not able to save them there. We kind of see that that Zuka popping out. I'm still thinking about the sniper rider right now. I am so dumbfounded.
Oh, I love it. I mean, hey, nothing wrong with that pick. This is a great time to experiment. It's a really good team. I mean, why not? And here comes Zillion, who's fighting against the sniper rider. Oh god, I can't get over that either. Getting a really good pick, causing some disruption, a little bit of chaos, but unfortunately, Silly's the last man standing here on the side of the Comet Blasters as ISU takes the tower once again.
Yep, sniper riders right in the tower. They can hear us. Somewhere in there, they can hear us. Silly kind of coming out over here, trying to disrupt them. We see Jimby and all of them kind of fighting around that their sponge, but they're unfortunately just going to go down. We see that cooler come out as well. Vod's going to pick it up for the road.
Right, exactly. I really like this pick here from Zolo, not Zolo, excuse me, Cliff on the blaster. That was a great TC pick, and it's paying dividends so far for Illinois State as they are just about to clear the second checkpoint here.
Yeah, and I mean, their defense is pretty good here on the side of the Comet Blasters. I mean, they kind of got them out of their pit area. They got them out of their spawn, and they're kind of looking to make a push here. That crab helping to kind of get mid back.
Right, exactly, Grace. Here comes the Comet Blasters, Silly making some moves and getting some paint down and fighting against Solo to get them off of that spinner. I mean, it looks like the Comet Blasters are just continuing to take on a wide variety of fights because Illinois State is just keeping them so scattered.
Yeah, we see Zolo kind of come in and get Silly as they were trying to zip cast her away, which is really unfortunate. They're kind of back all around in their pit area, continuing to push the tower forward.
Zola making really good moves on the sponge here, getting a pick on Ankar, looking to grab 2 more while they're at it, but goes down to Jimby here on the Viper, and it's just a couple players left for the Comet Blasters as finally Illinois State, the Red Embers, are able to take that checkpoint and just slowly inch the tower up that ramp to game over.
Corona here putting in a lot of work. They get completely wiped. Oh my gosh, this tower is just going to keep pushing on. They're going to get some jumps in. And we see, oh my gosh, they unfortunately do go down. We see all the members of Comet Blasters kind of rushing to that tower, but to no avail. Red Ember just completely KOs.
Man, the Comet Blasters had such a good start. Even with that 3 down, they were still able to hold their ground. right, get at least a few points on the board, able to hold them off, and then all of a sudden, like a switch flipped, like all of a sudden Illinois State completely just wiped the floor. Completely. Like all I saw was blue by the last 45 seconds there. I mean, the team synergy and coordination that Illinois State continues to demonstrate, it dumbfounds me.
Super, super dominant, yeah, towards the end there. I think on the side of Red Emberz, Illinois State, I think that they're really good at kind of making their opponent's specials, and in this case the Comet Blaster's specials, kind of obsolete in the match, and they're kind of like, okay, yeah, sure, pop your silly little crab, we're gonna go the other way, and then when your crab's done, we're gonna come back over, and then when you don't have any specials left, we're just gonna win the mid fight.
That is such a good way of putting that. You're right, like rendering them completely obsolete and just taking advantage of that fact that, hey, we can find a different way to do this and make better use of our own specials to disrupt, to get kills, to move on objective, take the zone, whatever it may be. I that's such a good way of putting it. Like you just like a light bulb just like flashed in my head.
Oh my gosh, this is so flattering, Mizuno. Oh my goodness.
Oh, stop it, Grace.
Oh my gosh.
Well, folks, we're almost done here in this friendly set here. We're moving on to game number 7, Rainmaker Humpback. Grace, you talked about scrappiness earlier. I feel like this is another very scrappy map mode combo.
This is the week of scrap, if I do say so myself. Which I do love to see. I think Rainmaker Humpback, listen, when they announced that Humpback was coming back, I was excited for Rainmaker Humpback.
No, I was too!
Yes, I love it so much. I think it's so funny. Coming around that little elbow area. I mean, like, sure, the checkpoint slows you down, but oh, is that a sploosh?
Wait,
is that a sploosh?
That's a sploosh. Is that a big swing as well? Oh my goodness.
I completely missed that.
I love her just like sploosh, big swing. We both have like completely different mindsets on that. I love how we both prioritize two totally different things. Hold on, we have to talk about also the Illinois State Rocky the Squeezer here. I love that pick here.
I also really love that pick. I think that that's one of the more ones that you kind of look at and you're like, makes sense. I see Jimby's kind of play here. They do unfortunately go down. So sorry for commentating, cursing you, Jimby. But I see their plan here. They're just gonna run at everyone. That's it. That's what they're gonna do.
Yeah, that's it. That's all there is to it. Jimby already sneaking their way in, getting a kill. I feel like this is what Jimby needed to play all along. I feel like this was their calling.
Oh yeah, this is
Jimby getting one pick, getting another pick, looking to find a third, gets the third, gets the fourth on the go with the stamp, tries to throw the hammer, almost gets the pick on Zolo, and finally goes down and allows Silly that chance to make a move on the Rainmaker.
Oh my gosh, Jimby, you needed to be playing this the entire set, and we see Jimby pick up the Rainmaker. Rainmaker made now, completely running it forward, just going for points there, and listen, I respect the grind.
No, this is a really great crab tank too. Storaro trying to sniff out Corona is able to get the trade here. Jimby trying to sneak in with the sploosh, with the but gets stopped by Boz Ink Zuka there. At 23 points though, not a bad lead here.
Nothing to scoff at all. We see Vod here kind of trying to sneak around mid, trying to get some paint down, and we see that Rainmaker, I think, kind of skirting over to the left here. Yes, already on that elbow, and it looks like the members of Comet Blasters are not ready for this.
No, they're not. I just see a lot of blue in their plat, which is incredibly concerning. I don't think they were ready for this push. I don't think they were paying attention. Here comes Onkar with their crab. Onkar, again, saving the day with that crab tank on defense. That was so clutch. I mean, bravo.
Listen, I'm really getting to know the members here of both. Whoa, Corona! Wait, what's happening? Okay. Whoa!
Okay, that may or may not just be me, but I'm noticing a little bit of LAG. Oh, well, praise be, at least this is a friendly match.
I was gonna say, thank God this is a friendlies match, and that Rainmaker is still gonna keep going. You see Vod here keeping control of their plat. That Zuka is trying to sniff him out, but can't do it, and the Rainmaker gets KO'd. That was the most insane flank. I'm like mid-sentence, and just Corona comes up and kills the person I'm trying to talk about. That's crazy.
Yeah, just out of nowhere, like completely interrupting your train of thought, like out of just like that.
Out of it.
Totally, man. Well, out of nowhere, all of a sudden, Illinois State somehow took the Rainmaker and knocked it out while we were talking. But man, what a great display from both of these teams.
Yeah, this was such a fun set. I think these two teams in particular, they had a lot of ebb and flows that definitely clashed with each other, if that makes sense.
Mhm.
Like their ways of playing the game kind of did not mix very well. Like they were very good opponents.
Agreed. I think that's a really good point to make too. Sometimes also it's just the opponent that you fight just doesn't work well with what you come in with, and that's always tough to counter. So, I mean, this is all. Remember, this is a league. This is only week one, and week ones are always, I would say, part of the toughest match because you kind of have to get into that mindset and figure out how to best prepare for these.
Yeah, and I mean, there's not a lot of preparation to do when it's your first match, like you said. I mean, it's definitely really tough, but both teams did a really good job here. Comet Blasters, um, I mean, although they did lose the set here, I mean, they've got a bright future ahead of them, of course.
Agreed. If I was the opponent of for week two against Comet Blasters, I'd be quaking my boots a little bit. Same with the Red Embers. I mean, this is again, like both of these teams are incredibly strong contenders and ready to take on Div 1.
Yeah.
Man, I think that's unfortunately the set, everyone. I think we are done for the night. We don't have more sets for you. But good news, we have more sets for you tomorrow.
No way.
Yes way.
Oh my gosh.
I know, right? Well, folks, we have, I believe, 2 matches on lock for you tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Eastern and then 9 p.m. Eastern afterwards. Quick preview here. We will have a Div 2 matchup starting at 8 p.m. Eastern between Aeronautics of University of Central Florida and the Husky Splatsville Knights out of University of Washington. So, literally, Battle of the Coasts. Quite literally.
Dang, that's pretty crazy. And it looks like both of these teams have a lot of CCA history here. I mean, it looks like they both did season 2, so it's going to be very interesting.
Agreed. It's a lot of history here between these two teams. And then at 9 o'clock Eastern, we're going to have a Division 4 matchup between UCSD Esports Navy and the Crimson Calamari. UCSD being out of San Diego and Crimson Calamari also out of Washington State University. So, really exciting matchups ahead. Now, folks, I think that'll just about do it here. Grace, where could the good people find you today?
Well, you can find me on Twitter at Tubnug. I'm also on Blue Sky. I'm also on that app. Also at Tubnug. But you will also find me in the Swim or Sink help desk many a times. Please do not give me a hard time. I will cry. But where can the lovely people find you, Mizuno?
Everyone, you can find me also crying in the CCA help desk, but if not, you can also find me on Twitter at mizu_in0, and one of these days I will get a Blue Sky account, I promise. And I think that just about does it, folks. We're going to wrap it up here and send you off on your way. Have a great rest of your night. Keep on splatting, and we'll see you at a future CCA stream.